Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show, special Monday edition. And I want to create more space on Mondays because there's so much to be shared. And our Monday guests are really bringing an awareness and a vibrational accord that's really helping to stabilize the field and expand into what else is possible. So it just feels like we're attuning, we're calibrating, and then we're expanding, attuning, calibrating, expanding, attuning, calibrating, expanding. And Viviane Chauvet, today's guest, is she's one of those great attuners, I want to call her. And today she's going to speak about awakening our ancient lineage. So it's going to be a phenomenal call. We're going to get into discovering your ancient lineage, how to gain perspective on Earth's historical influences. We're going to learn from ancient interstellar beings and so much more, Viviane. And we'll probably open up to Q&A as well. And if you're not familiar with Viviane, get ready to just feel into the expansion that becomes available and the truth that she speaks so elegantly. And she's an advanced Arcturian being. She's a galactic ambassador and multi-species healer and interdimensional teacher. And her essence represents the true nature of the Arcturian star nation and their mastery. There's so much more. She's an amazing, like Viviane's blown up on the scene, and for good reason. And again, if you're new to Viviane, you will soon discover why. And it's with that introduction, Viviane, that I'm so just heart grateful that you're here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much, John, for having me back on the Beyond the Ordinary, and everyone watching right now.
Mm.
Thank you for taking the time for tuning in. And as you mentioned, because I'm an Nocturne being in a hybrid human form and as a galactic ambassador, you need to understand that everything we're going to share today, it's really a group of consciousness sharing with you.
Mm.
It's much more that the individual self, as known as Viviane, sharing, but it's really all of us through one conduit. And it's a joy to be here.
Mm. So, Viviane, let's dive into it. Why is it so important to reawaken that ancient lineage? Are we not moving into the future, into new possibilities, into new unknowns?
Well, it's all the above, actually, John. I'm really glad you brought in an aspect of ancient lineage with future aspect,
Mm.
because that's exactly what we are at that point. We are at that sacred reunification or reunion. Think of it as a union of understanding our cosmic tree, our cosmic roots, our celestial origins, to be able to understand and redefine who we are and embracing naturally through what we call the future as just a natural movement in the organic timeline that we call the reascension. So another aspect to this is helping all of us to release the program that you are a linear being. How can we move forward in the future if we talk about ancient lineage? Well, it's because it's all coexisting with you in the now. There's no such thing as a past, your present, and a potential future. It's all overlapping, coexisting with you now. So the more we gain a deeper understanding of these profound, beautiful origins or root system, it helps you to ground better into your now and embracing even more what the potential of what you call the future feels like. So it's more of a multidimensional way to looking at our evolution.
So, how do we discover ancient lineage? How do we start tuning in and having a deeper relationship and understanding of it?
When you look at our cosmic origins, whether it's what is guiding you, for example, those of us who call themselves star seeds, I mean, I know many of you watching right now may identify as a star seed. By quick definition, a star seed is a soul emanation of a soul who has sent out a fractal of itself that you may be representing another star nations or a star system or coming from another universe. And you brought in with you the unique quantum vibration or the quantum frequency of that group that you represent in this human form. So by recognizing these aspects of your root, you also understanding your own soul ancestry and how it connects you to your blueprint. And the blueprint is also connecting you to your soul purpose. What motivates you? What makes your heart sing? What makes your soul vibrate? What is it you feel deep into your gut and your intuitive centers, what you've come to do? You know, many people throughout my work, John, ask me, I want to be of service. I want to do more. What can
Mm,
I do more? What is next for me? So by recognizing the perfect design of your soul ancestry, think of it as a beautiful tree of life. Once you understand the roots, you understand how the synergy affect the trunk and how the branches of the tree can endlessly expand. You tuning into infinite potential, infinite source, infinite aspect of you. So it redefines the quality of your reality, your co-manifestation, what aspect are you connecting with? What aspect of consciousness are you vibrating, perceiving, feeling? What interpretation of realities are you moving through? So it allows you to disengage for unnecessary narratives, stories, influences, pull, whether it's from people, whether it's from, what's presenting out there, whether it's disclosure, whether it's galactic origin. We've been pulled in so many directions. Where do you go from there? So releasing all of this distraction that pulls us in so many directions and start to feel the nourishing energy of your roots, understanding again what is it you brought forward in this lifetime to achieve what you've come to learn, to maybe complete time cycles, karmic loops, old relationship patterns, influence, traumatic energies, old emotion. Your roots allows you to get a new foundation. Mhm. And that foundation is we're going to recalibrate or redefine is the word I was looking for. That foundation is redefining how we ground ourselves, grounding in loving presence, grounding in intuitive energies, grounding into certainty more of, I understand who I am. I have a profound love. I have a profound respect for my root, for who I am, what I brought forward in this lifetime. So when somebody or a life event or situation, or I would say even changes in the grids of Gaia, whether they're more solar energy, plasma light, whether it's shift in dimension, whether it's shift in the narrative of structures, well, your roots, your foundation is there to supporting you. It changed the dynamic of how you move forward. So you can see is you're returning into completion, you're returning into embracing all aspect of your being, and that is embracing some of these roots, influences, markers, even in your genetic lineages, your DNA, what is influencing you, what is influencing your chakra system, and embracing the true aspect of what we call the future unfolding right now. And you start to feel and see yourself, I know my direction now. I'm clear that I am here to support the new earth or the higher cosmic timeline or the organic timeline of ascension. There's
mm,
a certainty, there's a fulfillment, an awakening that take place. I don't know if that makes sense. We can feel you coming into your own. And in this way, it's less easier to be thrown out of balance or to feel like a heartache or I need to close down to protect myself. You no longer need to go through these mechanisms. You have a
mm.
better understanding of who you are.
That the image I keep getting as you're speaking, and the word resurrection comes through, and and not from a religious standpoint, but really as we go through iterations of rebirth, how the root gets to go deeper and gets stronger. And as that fertilizes our capacity to hold, to be self-aware, to understand from the greater perspective, bringing forward all those things that are providing the strength and the stabilization of the field engender a capacity of consciousness, action taking ability with that consciousness, and they also awaken a greater sense of purpose. Also, it's almost like a mycelium network that is connected into not just ourselves for the sake of the survival of our lineage, but more for the unity consciousness, realizing that it's all affecting one and the other. And of course, we're going to want to choose what's going to, as we understand this, what's going to help us all thrive as a whole, because as we thrive as a whole, the opportunity for me to thrive as an individual becomes even greater.
Absolutely, very well said. You just summarized everything we shared, and you brought another level of the bigger picture. You know, when you say when you do activation in a group, the group become the support system. And
Mm,
that group become also the ecosystem of that support. Well, the same thing as individuals, we thrive and we move beyond the survival primal, instinctual energies. There's a thriving energy that take place. It's like an immense garden. You can see that some of the crops, they're really blossoming. They come into their own. The seed, you're no longer in a seed position. You are
mm,
really taking the shape of what that seed contain. All the information, the encoding, everything that you needed is not being integrated. And then you're really taking shape and form. With that, within a garden, to your point, John, it's going to influence not only the global consciousness on the planetary level, deep into the new grids of Gaia, how Gaia is shifting her grids. And then, of course, how we're going to connect on the solar system and how the solar system connects also to the Milky Way and the ripple effect on the universal level. We're
mm,
moving into more universal grid consciousness. I mean, I'm looking at the energy of March, and we are currently of March 2025. And
mm,
even though for those of you finding this interview many, many months later, it still is potent because there's going to be many different planetary alignment coming through this year. That's because there's a more cohesiveness between the consciousness, even within the planets, or we call the celestial being, the planets communicating with Gaia, how Gaia is being influenced by dimensional movement, the new plasma light, the photons coming in, the solar movement energy. So all of it, if you go back again to the analogy of the garden and the root system, well, you take the nutrients down to your roots to establish a connection, to
mm,
feel that stability that you mentioned. It's going to be important to feel how we are coming into that stability. And then that stability is opening up to our sovereignty. And the
mm,
sovereignty comes, and there's no more about asking, how can I cultivate self-worth? Am I worthy? I never felt love. I felt rejected. I felt misunderstood. All of these synergy, of these archetypes are starting to subside and no longer become a hold or a trigger points in your reality
mm,
because your roots are stable. You got a better foundation. You're thriving. You're in blossoming in awareness, and that stability allows you to say, now I'm ready to expand even on a quantum level. So again, exploring from that perspective ancient lineages and how it still pertains to today. And that's something that is very, very potent in the DNA and how the DNA is responding to that stability and that newfound, structures and foundation and awareness. It really, like you mentioned again, all interconnected. So by rediscovering, as it's a rediscovery, what we call ancient in reality always have been coexisting with you. It's
mm,
just that you becoming more attuned to understand what these origins have redefined this reality, this world, humanity, and the next natural organic evolution of humanity.
mm. With the people that you're working with and tune into, and then again, the prompt that you bring in through your awareness of your lineage, Vivian, how are you finding that they're having more familiarity with that ancient lineage within themselves? It's not like someone pointing to them as like, you're Andromedan or you're this, and all of a sudden they embody that and they take that on as their identity. It seems like it's a much more intimate and self-realized process rather than someone just giving them a map and saying you belong here.
That's exactly in relation to that soul ancestry we were referring to at the beginning.
Mhm,
Because when you start to rediscovering that you have certain roots or from this perspective of this lifetime or this incarnation, by soul design, your soul has brought in different aspects of ancestry or lineages, intertwined in the blueprint of who you are. It is part of the unique vibrational signature you carry. And you start to reattune yourself to that point and you're rediscovering from yourself, you understand it, you know what you know without the mind having to
mm,
explain it for
mm.
you, as opposed to, and I see that a lot in my practice, people come to me, oh, I was told by the reader I'm Arcturian.
Yeah.
I say, what does it mean to you? Well, then I have an affinity or I connect, I resonate. Okay, you can resonate with a star civilization, you can resonate with a philosophy or a core value. At the same time, do you understand how what it represents to you? And so what we do is that we explore what was told to them. A reader told me that somebody read my Akashic records. Somebody told me to my galactic origin reading or a galactic starseed reading. I was told this, and that. Well, the first thing we said is we bring that energy back to them. Let's connect. Let's open to your core. Let's open your field, your own Akashic field, and feel, okay, you were told you were an aspect of a Syrian. What aspect of Sirius did you bring? Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, let's tune into that. And then so it's about realigning yourself with the energy, the vibration, or what does it mean to be a Syrian or to be, a Venusian, or feeling I'm a star seed comes from another multiverse. So to be able to understand it for you, what is the impact it has? How is it influencing your gifts, your intuition, your life path? What is your calling? What is your soul calling? So this way we can redefine what that soul ancestry fits, so to speak, in the blueprint of that life tree and the beautiful tree of life for that person. It's about resonance. How does it resonate with you as opposed to be told for by somebody else to you? And I hear that a lot, and that's a very powerful distinction. People say, well, how will I know? Well, again, it's about tuning in,
Mm,
feel, invite, for example, let's say you were told you're Syrians with Andromedan influence, with some Arcturian, and let's say some Venusian. Says, okay, well, let's bring the quantum frequency of each of these groups and let's feel in your heart, use your body system, your intuitive center. Feel. How does it feel to you to be connected to the Andromedan?
mm,
Where in your body, where chakra system is activating? What memory is coming into your field? Feel, tune in. And then what we do is that we re-explore these branches of influences that categorize your own uniqueness of your soul ancestry. So in a way, for that one individual, it will be an aspect of connecting to aspect of your galactic origins. Now, those origins can also mean that those are the influences that you brought as a design, as your soul design for this lifetime. But once your lifetime is complete, you may come back to one of these star systems, or you may simply go back to choose to go beyond this plane of existence and return to pure consciousness, or
mm,
to be an angelic being, or to move on. There's so many more. Many times I had a chance to go to the realm of light, whether it's to see loved ones evolving after they pass, or whether I was giving options to move on. On several occasions, I was giving the options to move beyond this incarnation, to move
mm,
beyond the role of the galactic ambassador and the Arcturian human hybrid that I play here on this planet. I was given a choice to move beyond what's called the plane of existence, a physical plane of existence. So I will no longer need to be in a physical form if I want to.
mm,
And every time I said, my heart tells me I have a purpose and a big mission, and there's a huge planet here that is waiting, and I wish to return, and I
mm,
am still here. But I have seen some of the structure, the opportunity of what the soul has to really understand. And I'll tell you something, understanding even the most simple particle of you, redefine the mapping within yourself.
mm,
There's no more room for the confusion of the mind or being scrambling emotionally to get lost in translation because so many people just pushed all of their information in one bag. You
mm,
become so much in attunement with you. There's such a level of peace There's a level of harmony, there's a level of fulfillment, there's a level of connections. And that is calling into the natural ability that you have, and you start to understand what conscious living is really about. It changes the fabric of your reality.
Mm.
I know that it did for me when I went to see those many layers, and I have seen the healing temples. Once the soul goes through the life review, they go to the healing temples, and I've seen it.
Wow.
Yes, it will
Wow.
change a little bit depending on the soul interpretation, but I have seen that. And so it really is about going deeper within yourself, allow yourself this deep journey. You know, what is thriving in your life? What is leading in your life? What fragment of yourself is taking over every day? Where are you in your construct? And
Mm.
it's all encoded within yourself. That's the beauty. So whenever we offer an opportunity to take a deep dive or to go into deep exploration, just to understand the energetic of these ancient point of origins, whether it's celestial timelines, whether it's through sacred site, is to really awaken, is to create breakthrough of reawakening. Our
Mm.
roles is to help this planet that you call Gaia or Terra or Earth and all living being here to first reactivate the remembrance field, remembering truly your true nature, the design of your soul as you brought it, and understanding what the reascension is about. So the doctrine speaks a lot about, we teach a lot about the reascending process and
Mm.
how what it feels like in either simple ways, deeper way, mastery level. It's all the above. There's nothing too small, too big, or too little anymore.
Mm.
Everything is an invitation. It really is. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's really is. It's right there. It's within our fingertips.
Wow. And even just a slight shift of perspective or awareness and knowing that a door exists
Yes,
shifts reality. And that's what you bring in what you share. It's like, look, there's a door that you never knew was there that's always been there. And let me show you how to feel and have your own direct experience with it. Don't take the door because I'm telling you I have an experience with it. It's really about getting to know yourself in relationship to that spark that's waiting to be remembered from within you and activated in a new way.
exactly. Exactly. And that's beautifully said, John. And I'd like to give an example of this, a
Mm-hmm.
practical example. Um, Last October 2024, which is still recent, when we went to Katajuta, one of the sacred sites next to Uluru in Australia. The first time, the first group where we enter Katajuta, I immediately receive the message from the guardians on site says, you can no longer you can't go any further than you are. So what that means is that the group enter the site and we start to, move into the, hike a little bit in the mountain. And I went to a dead stop. And the group says, why are you stopping here? And I said, the guardians needs me to be right here where I am. I can't go any further. Now, to illustrate what you just talked about, John, is there was about 7 or 8 members of that group who receive a very clear message, a guidance that they had to stay with me, that there was something for them that they have to do, and they have to stay in the same location as I was, while the rest of the group will go way, way further into the hiking. And as a result, we became the wisdom keepers, that little group. I mean, it was like 7 or 8 plus myself and my husband, Peter. All of us who stayed behind the guidance that came naturally, individually. All I said is that the guardians asked me to stay where I am now. I'm going to be an anchor point, and I honor that. I honor the guidance. I didn't ask who wants to stay with me. 7 or 8 members of the group volunteer because they all received the same message.
Mm.
So, and then once the rest of the group moved on and we stayed behind, so to speak, that's why they said, you will be known now as the wisdom keepers. And
Wow.
we were assigned a very specific task right at that location. And the moment we start to come together as a very cohesive heart center group, this is where the doorways start to open, even to the solar presence. You can physically see blue ray of light touching the ground, coming through to connect with us. And I was receiving a lot of guidance, instructions. It was more a series of instructions of what was needed to do. And an aspect of it was, for a very long time, there was a tear in one aspect of the time-space continuum around this beautiful sacred site. And they're asking us to repair that tear that was put there for a long time ago because of some galactic war and other distortion that took place there.
Wow.
And so we did. We were able to successfully repair the tear within the grid system that surrounded Katajuta. And that changed the dynamic completely. It will change forever. I mean, it's done. It's already in alignment as we speak. But
Mm,
again, when you talk about receiving guidance, listening, being in tune to it, why 7, 8 other members follow the guidance? No, I know I have to be here.
mhm,
My mind is asking why, but my inner guidance tells me I receive a message. I must be here with you. And as a result, what took place was phenomenal.
wow. No.
See,
That
that's an example of it.
that's a beautiful example of it. And again, we have that inner guidance system. It's there, it's awakened. But when happens again, when we discover that ancient lineage, when we go deeper into the roots and create that stability, our capacity to listen and to follow through on this listening, because it's one thing to listen and kind of be wobbly in the action of it, but to be in the reverence and acknowledgement of it. And it's not just reverence for what's coming in, it's reverence for ourselves simultaneously.
Indeed, it really is. This is what we call stepping into the path of self-mastery.
Mm,
We talk about, how, ascension, the path to alignment. If you look at all the ascended masters throughout histories, individuals who have achieved phenomenal level of spiritual awakening, well, they're just way shores. They're point of remembrance, they anchor points to help all of us to remember that it is possible. So the path to alignment start right now to says, I walk this journey in the stability and the knowingness of my being. I follow universal guidance. I
mm,
listened, I am present, I'm opening these higher mental faculties. You're opening yourself to universal mind. You mean as you're no longer perceiving yourself as a limited linear human
mhm,
being. You start to understand it's the reverse. You are an expression of infinite source having a human physical experience. And
mm,
that human physical experience is extraordinary of the gift and the ability it provides to the infinite part of you. So for example, it can be that for you, you're experiencing physicality or you're rediscovering physicality, maybe for after thousands of years being out of body, and you coming back to remembering the confinement of a physical form. It's an extraordinary lesson.
mm,
Or more reawakening. So the thing about it, John, is a huge reversal of an ingrained pattern of belief system that you're first and foremost a human being and you're discovering that you're part of creation. No, you're part of creation and you've come here to have a human experience.
mm,
It's the same thing for me. I know that I come from, let's just say, a different dimensional space. I come from a civilization who we have reached alignment thousands and thousands of years ago. So we come from a place where enlightenment is a natural state of being. Here you're rediscovering what enlightenment means to you. So by coming back to understanding the very foundation of your roots, with the understanding how the lineage in your family has been influenced, what is your role in that lineages? What is the role of that soul group? Is it part of your oversoul? Have you exchanged some roles for together for a long time and you're coming back in a lineage format or what you call a family dynamic? What is this about this dynamic that you've come to either rediscover, learn, stabilize, will be the anchor point that release a very old pattern. I see that all the time when one soul will reincarnate in a very specific family dynamic or a genetic lineages. And that soul is coming to help to release maybe hundreds of years of ancestry, to
Mm,
helping them to shift direction, to help them release certain aspect of repetition, patterns, mechanism, old archetypes, and then it helps to thousands of souls to evolve. The ripple effect is huge in space and time because we are multidimensional beings as opposed to be a linear being.
mm.
The implications are huge.
They're enormous. And I'm so curious about your perspective about this. And I know you're going to take us somewhere just fantastic.
Mm.
For me, my journey has been, yes, of attuning into energies. And there's so much that is assisting us into really discovering that high vibrational light that lives within us. And so, yes, it's a journey inward, in lots of ways of acting. Remember, touching into the deepest taproot that we have access to at the time. There's, a knowing of our past selves that have gone into illusion of what was to bring it back into the light. And it's wonderful to have that path of self-realization, we can call it. How do the ancient interstellar beings assist us with that path of reawakening within ourselves?
But one thing, many of us who are have already reached a part of the enlightened state, and we know how to cultivate a
Mm,
state of harmony, how to maintain ourselves in a higher resonance of complete harmony with the prime source creator in every aspect of the multiverse. So think of us as a placeholder. Think of us as a future aspect of that version of yourself that has always coexisted with you, potentially for millennia, but now you are ready consciously and through awareness to realign yourself with that reality. And for example, my delegations, the Octurns who I represent here, we do serve as such as a placeholder. We are a future aspect of the ascendant version of yourself. We represent an aspect of what we would call a future aspect of the human race and as it was always meant to be. The human race was always designed to be a race of advanced being. If you look at your celestial template, the original human celestial template, the true encoding that's just reside and is still dormant within just the codons of your DNA, the encoding to your chromosomes, your pineal gland as a divine lens, and all of these innate faculties within yourself, we can see that in the way you radiate this heart energy to the radiance of your living aura. So Arcturians, for example, we come to you again as master teachers, presenters of love, of frequencies. We are, to says, look at us. We are an aspect of the future self that we are projecting, mirroring back to you. Or some of you would say, well, I'm unworthy. I feel, because of my upbringing, depending on the cultural background, depending on the trauma you went through, depending on what generations you were brought in. And we said, we understand this is part of your human experience. Nonetheless, it changes nothing to your profound nature. And we see that every day in our interactions with the planet.
mm. Amazing, amazing what's coming through. And again, that there's so much feeling of support that comes through it, the seeing the potential actualized, but the space that's being held, there's just it's helping us really move forward in a ways that otherwise we would suppress because there's an anchor there that's so stable in the field holding what we're tuning to. It's I want to get into your special offer in a little bit because what you're taking all of us into, is extraordinary with what's activating through this remembrance and the gateways that are being lit up because we're ready to see it in ways that we haven't seen before. Um, but before we get into special offering, we will get into Q&A if you're okay with that, Vivian, because I want to take questions from the audience. I've been having this contemplation and feeling that yes, there's future John and future versions that are, I get that it seems like they're all happening simultaneously.
Yes.
But I'm realizing also in my experience, or maybe I'm dreaming into it, that as I accelerate this present moment here, that it can even surprise my future self that there's a spiral into a whole different timeline that future self was even holding, and that we can actually awe and put in wonder that future aspect of ourselves into a greater discovery.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely, because that future aspect of you already exists in the quantum field. It's already a reality, but to your perspective or to your physical senses and understanding of how time functions, it is just something, in the future. But in
mm,
reality, what you can do, you can align yourself and I ask that future aspect of my ascended self to connect with me in my now, to help me to already embody the quality, the virtues, the activation, the reawakening I need, and
mm,
do it with great compassion. What needs to be purged, let it be. What needs to be extracted, allow it to release. What needs to be shifted, transformed, allow it to be with an open heart. Is give yourself the permission to start embodying these aspects of your future ascended self that already exist again in the quantum field today into your now, because there's no such time as a linear time. You're
mm,
not a flat being, you are a beautiful, complex being of light. So that aspect of your future self can be in alignment today. So when we look at the ancient cosmic celestial galactic roots, we're also realigning the aspect of the future aspect of how these roots have evolved. They're not just an imprint of your past, they are a vibrant aspect of you coexisting in your field. You're simply realigning yourself to that, and
mm,
how it can help you in your daily life, whether it's to improve your meditation, to go deeper into connecting, understanding like languages, understanding language of Gaia, decoding how your body template functions. Do you
mm,
even know how your chakra system communicate? It's unique to you. You may have a similar template, but the uniqueness of how it communicates and influence each other, it's unique to your template.
mm,
So all of this become accessible, how to increase the quality of your communications, opening yourself to be clearer conduit, and allowing your body structures and the body intelligence to bring in the instructions it needs so it know how to repair and balance itself.
mm,
You're no longer dependent on, a doctor or somebody else who seems to know more than you, or you are allowing yourself to tap into this knowledge that is accessible to you. Now, without being said, all of this, it's in resonance with your current state of awareness.
mm,
Where are you consciously? That's going to be a huge key, and everything aligns from it. You can tap into any dimensional part of you. For example, you can say, I wish to communicate with the aspect of myself in a time of Atlantis. Now, what time cycle of Atlantis were you in to tune into that frequency? I wish to remember my healing ability as I had in Atlantis.
mm,
What purpose would you want to know that energy? Are you clear about your intention? And all of this influence everything that we do. When we travel to sacred sites, one thing that the many guardians, no matter where they are, many aspects of the dimensional portal, the first thing they will read is your signature, your
mm,
vibration. How do you present yourself? If you present yourself as an insecure, scrambled, ungrounded human being, the guardian may says, sorry, access denied, because it's going to create distortion, or you won't be able to sustain the frequency. It's going to just crumble your field even more.
Mm.
How do you present yourself? And I've been teaching that to groups when we travel. Let's hold the space before we enter. Let's bring ourselves as let's bring the group unification, the cohesiveness within ourselves as a group, as a vibration. Now we can ask the guardians.
Mm. Yeah, it's really and your line of questioning is so fine-tuned. And it, there was a lot of conversation a while, and of course we've lost it a little bit in the news cycle, but it still exists. And y'all, we're gonna get into this. As a matter of fact, before I continue, y'all click on the link with the special offers in the chat box. There's a special offer box where you're watching today's live call from. Also, click on that if that's easier. Or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace, and you'll see Viviane's picture on there, and click on the special offer there. There's lots of different places for you to find it, because I want you to go through what Viviane's offering, because it's going to take us deeper into this attunement and this illumination of these doorways that we have access to if only we know how to look. So as y'all are opening that, I want to go into just an awareness of the technology of AI and ChatGPT and these other platforms that seem to be taken on a consciousness that can, and there's been a lot of distortion and fear around it in different ways. But the gift that I see in these particular technologies is that they're asking us to train ourselves how to ask more refined questions to get the results that we're seeking, and to go into the depth and the critical thinking of the questioning, and to bring heart into it for an amplification of what we have access to within ourselves. I think is amazing training ground. And again, you do it so naturally in the way that you teach. Ask us to contemplate and to seek the integrity of what it is that we're really asking for in our requests and in the responses that we seek, that it becomes such an empowering tool for awakening what's possible within ourselves.
Absolutely. And that refinement is reflected also of the refined frequency that we're receiving.
Mm.
So the way you talk about critical thinking is disengaging from the autopilot of the
Mm.
logic mind. And you can utilize all the tools you have at your disposal, as long as there's no need to give those tools more power than they really have. You have the authority. You hold the sovereignty. You hold the energy and the integrity within yourself. Utilize anything that you need in that regard, while allowing yourself to organically evolve. So this is a big aspect of our teachings and offerings, is that we always support that natural organic awakening. Is how
Mm.
you think, you feel, the deeper connection within yourself, opening this higher interface, even between the higher mental faculties, the universal mind that connects you directly to the interface of your heart center, for example. How it allows you also, your chakra system, to take the next quantum leap of evolution. How
Mm.
to be able to allowing your internal system, whether it's your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, the master cell, how the design of your body template, how it's going to really shift the dynamic of, your quantum field to your DNA, how the strands are communicating, and then releasing the interdimensional aspect of your DNA. And it sounds like so advanced in the future and complicated, but here's the good news. It starts here and now by
Mm.
stepping into that stability with consciousness, with acceptance, to feel really what is your sovereignty is about. And then your interconnection with the planet, with symbiotic life, with tools, with everything that you have access, even technology, will change the dynamic of it. It will
Mm.
change the nature of it. It is always you being in the center of the power. It is you in the center of your empowerment with the great wisdom that your soul knows. Can you imagine for a moment living every day, even if you still go to work and deal with clients, or, colleagues or family members, friends that has a different resonance field or a different stage of consciousness, it changes nothing to your nature.
Mm,
Can you imagine me in the world when I go pay my mortgage or go grocery shopping for the kids or I'm driving or going to places that seem to be so mundane? I am still fully who I am. I
mm,
still speak the way I do. I still emanate the light that I do. I still radiate the true essence of my being because this is what I'm here to do, as opposed to condensing myself or complying to fit in a box of reality because that situation calls for it, called driving, calls airport, calls going to work, or interacting with people of different state of consciousness. Now imagine me on a dentist table, a chair. Imagine me for a moment. Picture me. I'm lying down on a chair at a dentist's office. They have no idea who they're working on. However, the way I engage the conversation, now they're used to my frequency. They love having me there because
mm,
the moment I enter the office, I change the dynamic of the atmosphere. I'm already shifting their state of reality, the way I interact, the way I talk about insurance or how my gums are doing, the way I talk and the way I resonate, the way I vibrate. I am very conscious of what interaction. I am still fully who I am. I am
mm,
simply adjusting to that temporary reality. And when I come out of the dentist, I smile and I say, until I see you next time. But I can see them shifting. I see the doctor in a different stage. I have taught them there's certain keywords, they're non-existing in my vocabulary.
mm,
Replace them. It is right on, absolutely. And the thing is that I am helping them to unlock the autopilot because the dentist is used to the training of a dentistry in a 3D field. I said, how about you throw those books away and tune to my own reality?
mm.
Feel my energy. Then we can talk. And they find it fascinating. But this is
I,
how we change the fabric of space and time, right?
I love that you're using this example because I had my teeth cleaned earlier. I
See,
walked into the office and and I can feel the people there, the dental hygienist, the receptionist, that their energy shifts when like I like pop in. It's like something expands in the way that they relate and the way I sit in the chair, even the impulse that maybe I would have picked up from them had I gone intense and timid and ready for something bad to happen. I can feel them lightening, if you will. Again, this is an alchemical place where we just
yes.
naturally just vibrate higher because of the luminosity and the intention of benevolence that's held and seeing each other and with really such divine awareness that it raises everything for everybody. So again, I love that you brought this as an example because it's so on
See,
point of what I experienced earlier today.
well, I saw it in your field, so thank you for the inspiration.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh my God. Okay, y'all, we're gonna get into live Q&A in a little bit. But first, let's go to the special offer and reawakening ancient lineages. Vivian, this is I love the way you teach and the way that you offer this and
Thank you.
what you engender through just what is,
Mhm.
through just what is. And so this is powerful. Tell us more about what everybody's going to receive participating with you on this.
Absolutely. So this beautiful event is greatly inspired by a number of trips to sacred site,
Mm,
observation directly, communication with the guardians. I've encountered different beings, communicating also with interplanetary councils. Like for example, the one in Uluru. When we were there, we worked directly with the High Pleiadian Council, and how it really accelerate our own evolution right here, right now in the field, in spite of all the narratives pushing out, in spite of the transformation we're going through. So we're going to create with the Octurians, opening a sacred quantum field and allowing to go deep on these aspects of the sacred site, how to prepare, how to utilizing also the knowledge of our ancient roots and how much we realize we are profoundly interconnected to a huge community, an intergalactic community out there in the multiverse. And Gaia, the Earth, is returning to take her place within
Mm.
that community. And what is the implication for you? What is the opportunity for you? Uh, Nocturnes, we always bring so much deep healing energies. We're masters at light frequencies. We are masters of light, and how it can really change all archetypes in your life to allowing that natural transformation. So, and we're going to share some photograph taking on site. We're going to go into a deep journey. There's going to be a beautiful exchange, learning tools, experiential. And I was asked directly by my delegation to create a very energetic event to allow everyone to feel without having to spend thousands of dollars to travel and still being able to benefit from the teaching, the wisdom, the message, and the activations of these sacred places.
Yeah, these are powerful activations, what you're bringing through. And Vivian and I have had kind of like bouncy type of energies of places where we're supposed to be in parallels, which is interesting. We were just in Egypt, and well, our group that we took, Susan, hi, you were there with us. I'll call on you in a minute. A group, and at the same time Vivian was, or pretty close to it, she was in Uluru, and my guidance that was that after Egypt that Uluru was supposed to come, but then when Vivian said that she was going to Uluru, it was like that timeline shifted. And Vivian had been in Egypt the year before, so there's like this weaving that we're doing in different ways, and we are expanding, and the light weaving that's taking place, and to be able to attune to a deeper level of presence from these places and how they're facilitating um, a cohesion in our field.
Yes.
It's so profound. So this is awesome. You know, the live event's a 2-hour event. It's scheduled for Saturday, April 19th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. It's on the sales page. You'll get it on the delivery page if you sign up. Of course, I'm sure there will be a replay if you can't show up live or miss a portion of it. So that's there. And then you're also offering a 5 heart evolution stages, part 1. What is this?
So, yes. So, another guidance I received from my delegation is to understand how the heart is evolving. So, in part one, we're going to explore the first three stages of evolution of the heart and how it really affects, how we think, how we feel, how we hold on to patterns, whether it's from personality trait, whether ancestors, whether it's upbringing. It's really about how much these evolutionary energies can either support us to really reach our higher potential or to prevent us from moving forward. And it's a very deep heart energy. It's already been pre-recorded. And so far, the response I've been getting, it was just people can identify, they relate. It helps to bring perspective. It helps to help sometimes to even get realization or activation, being able to release. And we're going to go deep into that. There's experience, there's tool, there's journey, there's a lot going on. And I felt it was so complementary with the reawakening of these ancient lineages as a catalyst of acceleration, a catalyst of evolution, actually to move us forward in many ways in such a beautiful aligned way. And so part one of the 5 heart series is looking at five stages of how the heart evolves. And
Mm.
then it's going to lead to more. But that I had that layer to really support the energy. And I felt that was a very beautiful complementary synergy to bring.
That's wonderful. And again, I really appreciate the way that you share, because it's not just about knowing what the 5 stages are. It's actually an experiential kind of like
Yeah.
a lever that goes off,
Yes.
gives access to the rising into the next stage and into the next stage. So it's, again, the way that Vivian teaches, it's not just about learning that there's 5 stages and be aware for this and you're going to carry this and this might happen, which is wonderful in so many ways, but the direct experience of having access in a very personal way to not only understanding the stages, but being guided through them in your own intimate expression that really brings in the profound teaching that sticks. Once it becomes yours, it can never be taken away. And so to be guided to those doorways are powerful. um, Vivian, this is generous. This is awesome offer, y'all. It's $99 with a two payment option. Again, you'll participate in the live call in April and get immediate access to the 5 heart evolution stages part 1. Again, that's going to take you through the 5 aspects of the heart, and get you into that experiential remembering, reawakening, and tapping into grounding in and really rooting in stronger. That which is ready to be anchored further within you. Again, $99 and a two payment option. And so wonderful that you're bringing this in, Vivian. Thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, and with this place of gratitude, I'd love to now transition into live Q&A.
Yes.
And to take our first caller, Susan, welcome. It's great to see you. Can I ask you to unmute your microphone?
Absolutely.
There you are. Hi.
I wanted to say happy birthday to you on February 22nd.
Thank you.
It was one of the days that the light would come through Abu Simbel.
That's right.
And the other one was my birthday in October. So
I remember,
John
yes.
and I shared that opposing.
We're bookends with Abu Simbel and the astrology and the architecture and the intelligence that built that thousands upon thousands of years ago with such precision.
Yes.
We have to awaken that. Remember that there's a technology within us that just knows.
And I saw a death on the Nile, which brought me back to the original structure, which was interesting to see it right on the waterfront. So
amazing. Thank you for the birthday wish.
oh, yes, you're very welcome.
What is your question for Vivian?
So Vivian, thank you. I appreciate your energy. I too am a person who would bring love into the dentist's office or the grocery store. And the question that I would have is, what aspect of Andromeda star system have I brought here to open to?
So it's a great question. I want to understand, what does it mean to you? What aspect of the Andromeda star system?
Well, I don't really know that much about the Andromeda star system, but I do know that I am deeply love and have spent lots of time on Lumeria. I think I avoided Atlantis. And so I was just wondering if there was any aspect that I am to bring forward to, I guess, make the best use of my time here to share
Okay.
and then maybe achieve what I've come here to learn.
And thank you for the clarification, because by clarifying your question, it changed the dynamic of the direction. So when you talk about, I think I just skip or avoided Atlantis, right away what I heard is that there was no need for you to go through these time cycles. There was nothing for you to learn from. You came, you embody, and you encoded to Lemuria, and then you left the planet, and then you came back in different time cycles. So it's not that you avoided or skipped it, it's that your soul knew that there was no need for you to go any further. And that's one thing about Lemuria I want to clarify when you said that. I saw that in my field right away.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So one aspect of Andromeda, so what I would recommend is at this point of your consciousness where I can feel you're very much heart-centered, you're vibrating more of a ancient soul energies. I can feel that from you, Susan, which is beautiful to see. So at this point, what I would recommend is tune in through your divine self and ask, I am ready to embrace more consciously that soul aspect of my Andromedan self, and just allowing organically that soul aspect of your Andromedan self or your Andromedan soul ancestry to come forward to really supporting you into the next level of your life path, activation of your gifts, life purpose. more of an invitation. Allow it. If there's space within yourself as an invitation to allow this Andromedan soul ancestry to come and nourish your roots, we talk about ancient cosmic lineages. That's an example for you, is I am ready to embrace more consciously that Andromedan soul ancestry as it serve and support the best my soul purpose. And it will be done.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
No,
Thank
I
you.
love that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Vivian, for that. And
You're
I would ask you, Susan, just to play, because we get to play. And Vivian, I think, well, I know the way she brought it in so elegantly and in an empowering way. But again, I want to play with you for a second.
Uh-oh.
You ask how you can bring this essence in and how you can do that. And I would ask you, how do you want to do it rather than how you can? How is it
Right.
that you want to express it? How is it that you choose to do it rather than ask permission? Again, that's like someone saying, hey, point to the star system and tell me where I'm from, rather than going, oh, hold on a second. Let me have this experience of realizing by asking questions that are meaningful to me, what is it that's really resonating for me? You don't need someone to direct you.
Yes, I
Right?
completely agree with that. In fact, the information came in very subtly, and asking how I can is I'm already doing it. So thank you for, I have to watch my words.
Well, how am I choosing to? How am I wanting to? Because how can I? It's like it's we're waiting for another source to tell us who we have to be in order for that to be fulfilled.
Right. I guess I was um wanting the door to open to start expanding along my path.
That makes sense also. I understand.
Everybody wants it to be quicker, so
Right. We just want to we want to get into the game. So but it's anyway, an invitation of just an awareness of really the intimacy within ourselves. What do we want to do? And why do we want to do it? And let's just do it.
right, and
Let's
not
just do
ask
it.
permission. Just thank you for that awareness as
You,
well.
you can ask for permission or forgiveness afterwards, but just do it. Amazing, love. It's so great to see you.
Yes, really nice to see you too.
Thank you. Thank you. All right,
Thank you, Vivian.
Jen, let's go to you. Welcome.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Vivian. So I'm one of those people that are insecure. I may be insecure, scrambled, not worthy, but I also have a deep knowing that I am love, that when I do slow down and ask the question, the answer is right there immediately. The challenge I have is to always be in that space where you're asking those questions, and then it's, what questions do you ask? So I don't feel like I've gotten out of the quicksand to be able to move on to asking what I want, how I feel. I feel like my gifts are here, my love is here, but it's sort of wild and untamed. And I guess the discipline to do that is what challenges me.
And I want to acknowledge the challenges that you go through. I understand that it's quite rich and diversified to be here. And it can emotionally, feel insecure and can feel like, feel isolated, or there's disconnect from source of love and all of it. I really understand. But when you look and you talk about, on one hand, I feel insecure, but on the other hand, I recognize that I do have the answers within myself. Whenever there's an energy of insecurity, just like fear is an experience, like grief is, like joy is, like fulfillment feel. These are experiences that your soul come to learn here and recognize. So when you see and feel the energy of uncertainty coming through, allow yourself to go back to 0 point or divine neutrality and say, reveal to me what is that the true source of that insecurity coming from. It can be, for example, the chattering of your mother when you were a kid telling you that you can never do anything right, that whether a way of expressing love was true insecurity. And that became entangled in your being or even deep in the subconscious mind. Just to look at what is waves of insecurity, feeling scrambled, mental incoherence. Step out of that energy, like you're stepping out of the box. For a moment, take a deep breath, reset, go back to 0 point, and ask, where is that energy coming from? What is this emotion or that feeling really originating from? Reveal to me, reveal your source. And after time, you have to see, is that really coming all from me? Or am I an empath? I'm more empathic, in tune to what's happening on the planet in a global way. And this is my way to interpret my sensitivity to what other people feel, whether it's animal, the plants, the trees, the neighbors, maybe the heart of Gaia herself. And if so, you can ask, I recognize myself as a beautiful empath. I will take a deep breath from my heart. I release the energy of insecurity. I release the energy of unworthiness. And as you breathe deeply throughout your entire body and your heart, just see what shift and only what stay behind. You can say, okay, traces of it stay behind, and I'm going to look at it from within and reveal again what is the source of that insecurity. I always says, what part of you is responding to what stimuli? And that is the same thing. Insecurity in itself do nothing. It's how we respond to it. What is the source behind it? And I will tell you, just between us, Jen, of course, is, oh, is that your baby?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am well
Come here, come
known.
on.
I am well known for my love for animals. So if you bring an animal, I am distracted. I love
Sorry.
them so much. No, it's a compliment. I love them so much.
Well,
And
my daughter made sourdough bread, and
oh,
she just started making it, and I had it on the counter over here. So Scylla wants more.
boy, you can come, baby. I love animals. I recognize them. What I was going to say, and thank you for allowing him to be there with us, is you're just really recognizing what aspect of yourself seem have been influencing you the most. And what does that part of you really connect to? What memory? Whether it's a person, a dynamic, whether it's the family dynamic, whether it's really to understand what it is. I am ultra sensitive. I am dimensionally sensitive. When I wake up in the morning, Jen, I feel as if I'm holding the planet on my chest. I feel that much. I have learned to recognize what is coming globally, whether it's coming consciously, and what is really coming from my own inner source. So I simply show so much empathic energy. I show so much compassion, love. I invoke universal love. I invoke divine presence. And I bathe that emotion with that divine love. I will bathe that frequency. If a lower frequency, I'm going to bring in a higher frequency to neutralize it. And then I can feel I'm coming back to my center. Now I can do my healing work. So I will invite you to explore that way to better recognize within yourself. And I'm sensing more strength in you that you maybe have led to believe.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Blessings.
I hope that serves you well.
It's serving all of us well. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome.
All right, let's continue. More Q&A. Linda, welcome.
There. Hi, Viviane.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, John. So nice to see you. I was wondering, curious actually, how do we unlock more of our DNA
Yes.
so that we are more connected?
Absolutely. So if you recognize that within yourself, there's a intelligent living ecosystem of life, whether it's your organs, how your cells, how your bones vibrates, how your internal system, like the nervous system, known as the gateways of light, all of you, also your adrenals functions. If you recognize that everything within you is a living conscious ecosystem of life and it all interconnects. So the DNA is no exception. It's all interconnected to your state of awareness. Consciously, where are you? So for example,
Okay.
if you carry a lot of fear in your field, well, that fear energy, again, like Jen with insecurity, it's an experience. So it may retract your field. It may retract your recognition or your ability to tune in to your DNA, to communicate with your DNA, just to feel consciously. And you can do that every day just by a gentle meditation to feel you're connecting. I wish to connect to my DNA, to understand its language, to feel its vibration. Everything in you and as you will continue to evolve as much as your consciousness re-expand. How do you perceive yourself? How do you speak about yourself? What is the vibration of your voice creating? Do you speak about your body in a healthy way? Do you see yourself as a beautiful human being, a woman, a divine being of light? Are you allowing yourself to be who you are, even though those around you may say, "What are you talking about? Be real," right?
Yes, yes,
And then
I
you
do.
tell them, "Oh, I'm glad you're saying that because I'm being very real, maybe a little too, very real." But again, it's invite people to redefine what they think. Be real. Oh, I like that. What does it mean?
Mm,
Help me understand what you mean by being real, because my reality, I am vibratingly real,
mm,
and being able to be that way, the more you ignite this natural spark of light within you, of course, it influences your DNA. It's beyond just saying somebody activate my DNA, I'm all done. I know it's going to be an ongoing progress, an ongoing, think of it as a symphony that is ongoing within yourself, and you are the conductor, you're the maestro. And of course, you can have help and support. There's always that help and support. But let's allow this inner symphony to unfold and let other listen. Let other be able to hear your music, and then they can change their tone if they want to.
I love it.
See?
beautiful.
Thank you.
Blessings, Linda. Thank you.
Linda.
Thank you very much.
You're
That was
most
an
welcome.
inspiration in every answer. We're going to get into more Q&A, y'all, but I wanted to bring the special offer back up because it really is special. It's only $99. It's a live course with Viviane happening in April. The dates are on the page. There's a 5-part series about the heart and what's being activated in a alchemical unlocking, I'll call it. That's there. And again, the live call, it's an energetic activation, a sacred reunion with your celestial origins, as Viviane describes it, and a gateway to higher consciousness. And y'all are feeling what's happening on the call. I feel y'all feeling, I'm empathic as well, or a lot of y'all feeling that. And there's something that's stirring within this group dynamic. And I know it's going to be that and so much more in the very focused intention on that call. So I highly recommend that y'all participate. It's fantastic. And with that, I do have a question I want to ask you before we end because I'm so curious. But I want to take our next live caller. And so Kamari, welcome to the call. And Kamari, if you could find your unmute button.
Yes, I've got it. Good
Excellent.
evening, John. First time I'm speaking live to you, and hello to Viviane. I've seen Viviane often with Stargate Community. I'm one of Brigitte's hosts, and more or less traveled with them, zooming to Uluru and Egypt. I relate to what she's saying about the both of you going into dentist office. I feel like sometimes I have a light on my head too, and I go places. I wanted to connect ever since I was little. Every time I go outside, it's Arcturus and I'm phoning home or whatever it is. That's got to be the first star. I relate with the big eyes and the dark hair and the need and the desire to help people and bringing a healing to the planet and a healing to the work I do and connecting with my own Stargate here, Stargate Mount Carmel here in the Washington, D.C. area. I feel like I'm stationed on the Washington Monument. That's my pyramid and from where I work. But I wanted to mention to Viviane and you with this light on our head when we walk into places. Lately, I've been walking into the oddest places, you might say, that you would expect this, and that's churches, right? I mean, religious groups. Every time I go there, somebody comes up, and it's just amazing. It's the last place you'd expect. I was in a Mardi Gras a couple nights ago, and a lady comes up and said, "I love the way you dance." And there has to have been some segue, but the next sentence I remember her saying was, "Do you know Viviane Chauvet?" And it's
Amazing.
like, well, yes, sort of, I mean, of her. And I have called her. She went home to Pennsylvania, and I called her. I said, "You've got to get on the John Burroughs show." And
Mm.
I can only guess she's trying desperately. And as a way of introduction to say, because she would very much love to talk with her, that's how she's been brought into a spiritual understanding. It was that's how it happened. And it was recently, and it was through Viviane. So to buy myself maybe one more minute, perhaps there's something you may notice in talking with me or seeing with me and my Arcturan starseed connection yourself, or advice you might mention, Viviane.
Yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. And I'm always honored when, people bring us my name of what they experience with me or our work, and even through our Octran University and everything that we do, it always brings me so much joy. So I love the way you describe Kamari when you look at Arcturus star. We know that it's one of the brightest stars visible to the sky here, even though we're well over 36,000 light years from here. We're quite far, but we are also very bright. So, and I love your kitty, by the way, and I love animals. What can I say? And so when the moment you said that and you connected the star, immediately I felt, some of the guides, some of the Arcturian guides who are part of your entourage to really guide you, to supporting you. And I already felt the Arcturian soul ancestry that you brought into your root system, and how it has been part of the foundation to, guide you in your work with dimensional portals, or when you meditate, or how to recognize the presence of these beautiful advanced master beings of light. So I felt that beautiful soul ancestry, and how you have interweave that energy in your blueprint in this lifetime. And like I mentioned, you can call upon us to guide you on your journey. And remember, that Octurans speak to the heart, let your consciousness speak. We receive everything that you said at the speed of a thought form. You think, you feel, it's already received. And there's at least two Octurian guides within your entourage to guide you every day. So I'm very happy we're able to support you on your journey as well.
Thank you very
Bless-
much.
Thank
Blessings,
you.
Kamari. Thank you for being on here. There's the
Yeah.
Stargate. There it is.
Thank you.
Well,
you,
yes,
love.
Thank you.
yes.
Y'all, again, the special offer, the links in the chat box. We'll be running replays of the call for the rest of the week. So you can always access replays on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. And if you're watching the replay, you can click on the special offer button in the replay box. If you're watching on YouTube, go to the comments section for the link. Or again, you can always go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace and find your special offer with Viviane there as well. Viviane, I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. It seems like a lot of different agendas in our world are coming to a culmination. What's our roles as individuals as we navigate the different experiences that are being had? And also, is there anything that's being asked of us as individuals to help to facilitate a reconciliation that could present a favorable and more compassionate timeline for everybody here.
Mm. Compassionate is the key word, and compassion understood in a higher perspective. So one of the things that the alternates we have been teaching is how much the linguistic field of Gaia is shifting. So we're moving out of some old semantics, how we perceive compassion, how we perceive spiritual evolution, how we perceive certain metaphysical concept is no longer in the same frequency as it used to be. So evolving and shifting into a more of an empathic being, opening your empathic intelligence. That means that it's healing the gap between your heart and all life forms. So humanity needs to heal that gap between themselves and other life forms. For example, healing the energy between humanity and the animal kingdom, or humanity with nature, how you utilize the land, how you're utilizing the water resources, how is your relationship to the tree nations? Do you disregard them? Just there's a tree in my yard, it annoys me, I'm going to cut it down. You're no longer understanding the synergy and the distortion you're creating in the field. So that is going to be huge in terms of embracing the organic higher timeline. Because right now we're moving into the middle, we are in the middle timeline and we're shifting into the higher one. There's this opportunity there. Releasing some concept that you've learned from words. And the lady talked about Stargate. Well, the star that gate refer to more in portal. There's multi-dimensional portal out there, and so many advanced intergalactic civilization utilizing a very advanced system of dimensional portal that will create that tapestry that interconnects them, and they can recognize each other quantum signature as they're traveling to these dimensional portals. That's because there's an understanding, there's a recognition, there's a respect of each other, and we see that returning here on the planet. It's no longer about I own this is belong of me, this is, I own this word, or I'm going to grab into this. We have to returning into living consciously, living by the essential, as we call it. And it's healing this gap between yourself, others, and all other sentient life forms. Once you start to really stepping into that empathic intelligence, and you're able to maintain yourself in stability, cohesiveness, cultivation, and allowing that to be a complete natural state of beingness, communicating with an interstellar intelligence will become very natural. And I can tell you, some of them are really not looking like you at all, and it may really trigger you deeply, I'm telling you, because there's many of there. And so being able to recognize, and the same thing with recognizing what aspect of spirituality you're practicing. Sometimes it's just a little above the third dimension, the third density, and it's a step as long as you don't stay stuck there. So allow yourself to venture, open your field, be receptive, allow yourself to venture beyond, the spiritual construct that you have learned, or the known practice that you've learned. Allow yourself to be in that contemplation. It's going to be important to cultivate more harmonic energies. Are you living in harmony within yourself? Again, self-worth is implied. Why? There's nothing to earn here. Why? Because you are this infinite aspect of source. You've already worthy because of who you are profoundly in your nature. You are already worthy. We're recognizing you into the intergalactics. Once we step into that realization and start, we calling to be fully awakened, we're going to start to feel how we are alive. And that's one thing that also I have learned a lot from either people who had temporary, we could call it near-death experience, right? Or they're going to be deep experience in meditation or a moment in life. And they feel like this is more living. Everything is so vibrant. Everything is so clear. I understand who I am. I am in tune with myself and the universe. We come here and everything feels toned down. Everything feels toned down in our connections, or feeling separated, or feeling our how we can understand very basic universal concept. So we are returning to that point is, are you living an empathic intelligence? Are you allowing yourself to be? And if you're stuck on worthiness, you're simply stuck in a fractal of yourself. It's a fragment. Where is that fragment coming from? Reopen yourself to this infinite possibility that you are an infinite being, and only a fractal of yourself is experiencing this physical life. Thinking about more universally, I open my universal consciousness. I'm allowing you to live in harmony with the natural universal laws, as opposed to the 3D aspect here. So it's going to be a beautiful, more and more very empowered reversal of a huge thought system, which aspect is shifting more and more and more. And the peeling of the layers is the uncovering and that remembrance. You know who you are who you are, and I'm embracing it explicitly. And we make it our life work, John, to helping the remembrance to take place naturally with empowerment. You are the most advanced technology. Everything else is just a tool, it's a support system. Where do you give your power to the most? A copper structure, or within yourself into understanding that you are the gateway to the multiverse? And we, the Octurians, again, we are a model, a remembrance for you of your future accomplished ascended self. And many souls on the planet have already ascended in multiple lifetimes, in other timelines. We're coming back here to return again. This is why in our school of teaching, we teach about what is reascension. You're not ascending, you're reascending. And everything interconnects you. Even though from there your mind may tell you otherwise, even though in your heart you may have some doubt, it is still your profound nature. And there's many, many intelligent, sentient intelligence who are here to supporting you. And I have made my entire life purpose this passion of helping this planet to reascend. It is time, and I am here for the higher cosmic timeline. I'm not here to maintain or to support the middle timeline of technology. I'm here to helping you regain your full celestial power and authority and sovereignty. And there's hundreds and hundreds of interstellar groups who are eager to reconnect with you. Release yourself from fear. Release yourself from fear, bring certainty. We always says, walk in the certainty of your light. Feel those words. I walk every day in the certainty of my light. And feel that. It's part of our teachings. It's part of the Octern University, the universal consciousness community that we have here. It's returning to that place. Everything that we do offer is embedded into remembering and fully embracing that potential that you are now. So whether it's a future aspect, whether it's a past aspect, whether it's a multidimensional aspect, it's all interweave now. And feel it, allowing you to explore, experience it for yourself. Allow yourself to go deep in your rediscovery. See what takes place. And it's just the beginning. In 2025, it's the beginning of the new cosmic gateway. It is the sum. It really, really is. It is the beginning of a new cosmic gateway that's going to lead all the next 3 years, 26, 27, even beyond 28. The pure potential is immense. There's no prediction here. It's a movement of the timeline. That's what it is.
Powerful, powerful.
Thank you.
Viviane, Victorian Council, just thank you. Just so resonant and so activating, and what a blessing to receive this from you and from, again, the Victorian intelligence directly here with us. It's amazing having you here. Thank you for sharing your heart, such deep wisdom, and for holding the field of activated potential being ignited in the now. I can
Yes.
feel it so strongly. So blessings to you and everything that you're doing. Y'all, blessings to everybody who's participating in the special offer as you get activated even more. And of course, blessings to everybody on the call, but also holding that field of that bubble of energy that's coming together in April for Viviane's gathering. So just seeing what's available there and just wonderful. How
I
exciting.
want to thank you so much, John, for your generosity, your presence. Always a joy. The moment you reach out to me, you want to do something, yes. You want to do
Thanks.
that collaboration, I'm here. The joy, the synergy between us, it's just beautiful. It's a celebration. We really connect. We co-create a harmony of energy together. I want to thank your team, everyone on Beyond the Ordinary, also working very hard behind the scene to make this happen. I'm grateful for all of you. And of course, everyone watching and will be watching. It is because of you that we can do this work together. So our gratitude.
And gratitude to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, good night. I love you. I'll see you on the next call.